Hello everyone and welcome back to the Sigdemy Languages podcast. This is episode 10 of our English grammar series, and I'm so glad you've joined me today. In our last episode, we explored the future continuous tense, talking about ongoing actions in the future. If you missed that, be sure to check it out. Today, we're jumping one step further into the future to tackle a very useful and, I promise, not so scary tense, the future perfect. So, what exactly is the future perfect tense? Imagine you're looking forward in time, but you're talking about something that will already be finished before another future moment. It's like looking back from the future. We use it to describe an action that will be completed between now and some point in the future. Think of it as setting a deadline for an action. By the time that deadline arrives, the action will be done. It's a fantastic way to sound more precise and fluent. Let's break down the structure. It's actually quite simple and consistent. For any subject I, you, he, she, it, we, the formula is the same. The subject plus will have plus the past participle of the main verb. Remember, the past participle is what some people call the third form of the verb, like eaten, seen, or finished. So, you'd say, I will have finished, or she will have eaten. It never changes, which is great news, right? No tricky conjugations to memorize for different subjects. Now, let's talk about when to use it. The key is that there's always a future reference point. This can be a specific time, like by 8 p.m., or another future action, like by the time you arrive. Let's look at some examples to make this crystal clear. Imagine you have a big project due on Friday. You could say, by Friday, I will have completed my project. See, Friday is your future deadline. At that point in the future, the action of completing the project will be in the past. Here's another one. Let's say your friend is flying to visit you, and their flight lands at 9 p.m. You might say, by the time their flight lands, I will have cooked dinner. The future point is the flight landing, and before that happens, the cooking will be finished. To make the future perfect tense really work for you, you need to use the right time expressions. These little words and phrases are your best friends because they signal that you re-talking about a completion point. The most common one is by you're here by all the time, by tomorrow, by next week, by the end of the year. For instance, she will have graduated from university by next June. June is the future point, and her graduation will be complete by then. Another useful phrase is by the time. This one connects the completed action to another future event. For example, by the time the movie starts, we will have bought our popcorn. The movie starting is the future event, and buying popcorn is the action that will be finished before it. You can also use in with a time period, like in 2 weeks' time. For example, in 2 weeks' time, they will have finished their exams. It means that at the end of those 2 weeks, the exams will be over. Let's practice with some more real-life scenarios. Think about your personal goals. Maybe you're saving money for a vacation. You could say, by the end of this year, I will have saved enough money for my trip to Spain. Or maybe you're learning a new skill. By the end of this course, I will have learned how to use the future perfect tense perfectly. See what I did there? It's also very common in a professional setting. Your boss might say, the team will have finished the report by the deadline, or we will have launched the new product by the fourth quarter. It shows a clear plan and a commitment to a deadline. Now, let's contrast it with the simple future to avoid confusion. The simple future, using will, just talks about an action that will happen in the future. I will eat dinner. This just means at some point in the future, dinner will be eaten. But if I say, by 8 p.m., I will have eaten dinner, I'm emphasizing that the action of eating will be complete before that specific future time. The focus is on the completion of the action, not just the action itself. It adds a layer of detail and sophistication to your speech. Let's also look at negative sentences and questions. To make a sentence negative, you just add not after will. So will have becomes will not have, or the contraction won't have. For example, he won't have finished his homework by the time his friends call. The structure is still the same. Subject plus won't have plus past participle. For questions, we just invert the subject and will you have finished the book by our next book club meeting? The answer could be yes, I will have, or no, I won't have. It's quite straightforward once you get the hang of it. All right, are you feeling more confident? I think it's time for a mini quiz to test your understanding. I'm going to give you a few sentences, and I want you to fill in the blank with the correct future perfect form of the verb, in parentheses. Are you ready? Question 1. By the time we get to the airport, the plane underscore. To leave, think about it. The verb is to leave. What's the past participle? What's the full future perfect form? The answer is will have left. By the time we get to the airport, the plane will have left. Question 2. In 3 years, I underscore from college to graduate. The verb is to graduate. The correct answer is will have graduated. In 3 years, I will have graduated from college. Question 3. Don't call me at 7 p.m. I underscore dinner yet. Not to finish this one is negative. Remember how to form the negative. The answer is won't have finished or will not have finished. I won't have finished dinner yet. How did you do? Don't worry if you made a mistake. That's part of learning. The key is to practice. I encourage you to pause the video and try to make your own sentences. Think about your plans for tomorrow, next week, or even next year. What will you have accomplished by then? For example, by this time tomorrow, I will have listened to this podcast episode twice. Write your answers and your own sentences down in the comments below. I'd love to see them and give you some feedback. Let's do a quick recap before we wrap up. The future perfect tense is used for actions that will be completed before a specific point in the future. The structure is simple. We'll have plus the past participle. We use it with time expressions like by a time and in a week's time. It helps you talk about future plans and deadlines with more precision. I hope this lesson has been helpful and that you feel more comfortable using the future perfect tense. Practice is everything, so try to use it in your conversations this week. You'll be surprised at how natural it starts to feel. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 10. In our next episode, we'll continue our journey into the future tenses by looking at the future perfect continuous. It's another interesting one, and it builds directly on what we've learned today. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Sigdemy Languages so you don't miss our future lessons. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook for more great content. Learn English the smart way with Sigdemy Languages and explore the world through languages. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.